You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
I woke up this morning, got myself a gun. Mama always said I'd be the chosen one.
I don't need to wait another minute, let alone an hour, to take common sense steps that will save the lives in the future and to urge my colleagues in the House and Senate to act. We can ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines in this country once again. I got that done when I was a senator. It passed. It was law for the longest time. And it brought down these mass killings. We should do it again. We can close the loopholes in our background check system, including the Charleston loophole. That's one of the best tools we have right now to prevent gun violence. The Senate should immediately pass, let me say it again, the United States Senate, I hope some are listening, should immediately pass the two House-passed bills that close loopholes in the background check system.
President Biden speaking today about the deadly shooting in Colorado, March 23rd, 2021. He mentioned several things. First of all, the federal assault weapons ban that he said we need to have in place again, which we had at one time. It was a 10-year ban passed by the U.S. Congress on September 13, 1994, and then it was signed into law by then U.S. President Bill Clinton the same day. It applied only to weapons manufactured after the date of the ban's enactment, and then it expired September 13, 2004, because it had a sunset provision. Now, there have been numerous attempts since that time to reinstate the assault weapons ban. What is an assault weapon? Does that qualify for what took place in Colorado yesterday? Does it really make any difference? In response, I should say, to the president saying, I want the Senate to be listening, Senator Chuck Schumer has taken to the floor on the Senate and said we are going to debate and address the epidemic of gun violence in the country. Every time there is a mass shooting, we're going to have more calls for more gun control and tighter restrictions. And there are some that are acceptable, but generally the laws are in place that would work if they're done correctly. Now, according to some reports, the shooting coming out of Colorado yesterday, the shooter in Boulder, Colorado, a 21-year-old, had purchased his weapon in the last 7 days. The House just last week passed a bill that would require a 10-day waiting period because it apparently, of course, links again to the Charleston shooting at that church, and they were saying that is a part of a loophole that need to be corrected. The Charleston shooting dealt with the fact that buyer, if he's not approved within 3 days, could then go ahead and get it at the end of 10 days. We're going to get into that in more detail, so I'm kind of rapidly putting out in front of you. This is not a time to really get belligerent about gun control, but it is a time to remain that we make sure Second Amendment rights are protected. The problem is, too many times something like this is going to be used to attack the Second Amendment, rather than looking at criminals are not going to care about your gun control laws. It's against the law to shoot and kill somebody. So it doesn't make a difference what your gun control law is if someone's going to do that. We've got more guns in this nation than we have people. And we don't have a shooting every day. We don't have a mass shooting. Let me put it that way, a mass shooting every day. But it still says nothing to help those who are grieving right now, and one of them being a family of a police officer who rushed in to help yesterday. We're going to get into that over the next 2 hours. Also, we still have the Biden border crisis, which they will not acknowledge. James Carafano is going to join us from the Heritage Foundation, saying there are 5 steps could be taken that could really help with this border crisis if they would even acknowledge that it exists. And, of course, the homeless population is a massive issue. Going to be joined by a guest today that has written a book that he says in the title, No Way Home, there is a way to fix this homeless crisis with intelligence and humanity. That doesn't necessarily mean throw more and more money at it. And while we're talking about the homeless, what about those who are vets? We have 40,000 plus vets that are homeless. And we're giving money to help illegals coming into the country so they're not homeless, but we're ignoring the vets who paid a price and served their country. We'll get into that issue for you as well. And I'll also go back in time to talk about that time I went, quote, homeless for a TV special. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can hear podcasts of this program at Larry Connors USA Facebook. Larry Connors USA Facebook.